Perhaps because their lives depend on one another, emergency workers share a special bond. For the members of the new Canaan Fire Department, John DePanny was more than just a respected co-worker. He was also a dear friend.
You work together, you fight fires together, so you have like a bonding, a strong relationship with everybody in the firehouse. And it's like one of your fallen comrades in a sense.
I grew up around the fire department. My dad was chief for about 6 years. That's how I really know John, my dad. I love him. I love him like a brother or father, really. But he's like a father to a lot of people here, I think.
When I used to come up here as a kid, I'd talk to him when he was working here, as I did the other firemen engineers. You know, just known each other for a long time.
John had been a New Canaan fireman for 30 years. Everyone in the department knew and respected him.
John was a close family friend, down-to-earth guy. He's there for you if you needed him. His cheerfulness around the firehouse, you know, made you feel, you know, like you belonged here.
At approximately 5:10 p.m. on May 21st, 1990, a call came in reporting a kitchen fire. Both full-time and volunteer firefighters were immediately dispatched.
The volunteers are dispatched to a paging network. Everybody carries a pager with them. They respond from their homes or from their jobs or social activities to the call of emergency.
"58-year-old John DePanny was driving the engine on that day.
Mike, what's our water supply going to be up there?
We went out to the call. Everything was fine. We got through some pretty bad corners on North Wilton Road. He's driving along, and he took his foot off the accelerator. I thought he was going to turn down the wrong road. He reached over and grabbed his chest and fell over. I was able to pull the maxi brake. It had slowed the truck down dramatically, but we were still going towards a tree.
I couldn't figure out what was going on. First thing that went through my mind was something was wrong with the truck.
Johnny's down.
You hear that clear as day. Those 3 words, John is down. I think I'll remember those words till the day I die, probably. Just the way he said it. And then see him waving at me. I just knew it wasn't good. It was like everything was just going so slow. It was real weird. Almost like a dream. I called on the radio, advised him that he was having a heart attack. I don't believe he's breathing. Tell the ambulance they're gonna have to move.
I wasn't sure if it was a heart attack at that time or not. I didn't panic. While Carl came over to assist, I just kept talking to him, telling him, you know, John, everything's gonna be fine.
And while I'm talking on the radio, I reached out my door and said, "Is he breathing?" And Joe said, "I believe he's breathing."
I looked down, I see Mr. DePanny laying there with 2 firefighters. And at that point, I said, wow, you know, what's going on?
Ron DeMario was an EMT.
So I noticed diagonal breathing right away. I knew that he wasn't breathing. It sounds like he's inhaling, but all he's doing is just exhaling all the air that's left in his lungs. I was upset, you know, I was part of me died right there on the scene. It's like your own brother, you know, that's the fireman thing. It's like they're all brothers and we all stick together type thing. I called full cardiac and started CPR.
It's really scary. I've done it before on people. Now it's somebody that you know, somebody that you're close with. It's a lot harder.
You sure he's not breathing?
I don't really know how to explain what I felt. I saw a friend that was dead.
Assistant Fire Chief Jack Van Dusen had known John all his life.
We saw Johnny lying on the ground. His ears were blue. His throat was blue. We had to try and do what we had to do to get him back. You know, I've known John all my life. I just couldn't believe it. There was 1,000 things going through my mind. And one of them was, oh my God, you know, this is the way my father died. Why does it have to happen to me? You know, that, you know, I have to be here going through this. You know, it just brought back a lot of memories, you know, of my father and what, you know, we went through the night that he passed away. And it was like reliving that night being with Johnny on the side of the road.
As I'm looking down at John, I'm saying to Johnny, everything's gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine. I look over at Fred, and he's crying. And I just look back at John. You know, I didn't give up. You know, I still thought my mind, everything was gonna be fine. That he was gonna come out of it. And that's all I kept in my mind. So it was pretty emotional.
Margaret Donaldson, who is an EMT with the ambulance corps, arrived with her oxygen unit. By using the oxygen, what I was, you know, hoping is to make sure that there was no damage going to be done to the brain.
Rescue 911 will continue. The closest ambulance had only basic life support equipment, so an advanced life support unit was sent from Norwalk Hospital, but it was 10 minutes away.
Come on, buddy. Come on.
Firefighters continued on to the scene.
I'd like to contact the St. Vincent's Hospital.
You're hoping and praying that things are going to work out, and you just don't stop. You keep going.
Johnny can do it.
Breathe, Johnny, breathe!
Come on, Johnny, hang in there. Al, I want the defibrillator now.
The first piece of equipment to arrive next to me was the defibrillator. I knew CPR was doing its job, but I needed to try to, if you will, jumpstart Johnny's heart by sending an electrical current through his heart.
Okay, stop CPR, please.
John was lying there, his eyes were still wide open. When he shocked him, I never saw the effect of what happens. And your body actually jumps off the ground, so to speak. And that was a tough thing to see because I never saw that before.
We got a pulse. Good, John.
Our main goal now, let's get him packaged on the backboard in the ambulance, and let's boogie.
Come on, John.
You know, everybody had tears. There was a lot of tears.
Okay. Up.
Once we were inside the ambulance, the defibrillator, it analyzes and constantly monitors the heart.
Okay. Hold on.
Looked at the monitor, I checked for a pulse. Pulse was gone.
He's back in V-fib. Start CPR.
I knew that at that point we were again losing Johnny.
Come on, Johnny.
I felt like, you know, why? I just couldn't believe, you know, we had him and now we lost him again.
Press and analyze. Slow V-fib. Stand back. Come on, Johnny. Come on, Johnny. Nothing. Come on, Johnny. Come on, Johnny.
Once the third shock was administered, our last option was get him to the paramedic intercept.
I mean, I cried for almost an hour straight. I just cried and cried and cried. I mean, I thought he's going to die. Somebody I've known, and he died right in front of me, I figured.
Resist in the head. Come on, Johnny.
The first ambulance met the advanced life support unit halfway to the hospital, where paramedics took over John's care.
Both of us pulled over to the side of the road simultaneously. It made it more difficult to know that the other rescuers who were there knew him personally. And it put a bigger burden, I think, on all the paramedics who were there and the EMTs. We looked at the monitor, and it showed V-fib, or ventricular fibrillation, which is a heart that, in essence, has stopped, and it's not perfusing.
I got V-fib. Keep CPR. I'm going to try to pound 360.
When we saw him in ventricular fibrillation, we knew that he needed to be shocked right away.
Due for pulse. Flatline.
Okay, I got nothing here.
Come on, Johnny, come on.
CPR again.
All right, hold up, I got a rhythm, I got a rhythm.
Okay, it's up here.
You got a pulse, I got a rhythm again. He's converted.
Got a pulse. Got a
I was ecstatic, you know, a big sigh of relief. And I'm saying, come on, Johnny, you can do it, you know, you can do it.
It takes a long time after someone is resuscitated before they really are out of the woods, and he was far from out of the woods.
On the way down, you could tell Johnny was reacting better. You could feel him, he was squeezing your hand. You know, there was just like, my God, you know, he's definitely got a chance.
When John arrived at the hospital, he was still unconscious. No one knew how serious his heart attack would turn out to be.
At that point, we knew that he would be alive for a couple hours at least, but we didn't know if he was going to go on after that and how much damage was done to the heart because it had stopped, or muscle damage, tissue damage.
When I left, I knew Johnny was going to at least pull through. How long, I didn't know. I left the hospital feeling that he's in the best hands and that he will pull through. And here we are, you know, he pulled through.
Within a month, John DePanny had recovered from his sudden death heart attack. He's still on disability and plans to retire. In October, he and Linda Kennedy were married.
It took a little while to sink in what happened, but as every day goes, I realize really how fortunate and lucky I was.
A woman told me one time that when you wake up in the morning, you should be happy that you're alive. And so many people just wake up and they just go to their jobs every day and they don't think about, this could be my last day, you know? I think John thinks that now, too.
So you talk about Jack and you talk about Mike. I knew them when they were little boys. If they didn't know what they were doing, I wouldn't be here today.
I think we're all closer. We all shared in this moment of saving a life. It's so fragile. It's so fragile. 1 second you're here, and 1 second you're gone.
The whole CPR thing and, you know, working together and everybody just clicking right in, I think saved his life.
I don't like what I don't care. Hey, Jack.
How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, not
Just
bad.
knowing that I was a part of it, and I helped. I did what I could do. Just it was a wonderful feeling.
When the 12 o'clock noon whistle goes
I mean,
off,
just seeing him walking around and enjoying what I call a second life. I mean, that means everything in the world to me.
then the 3.5.
He was there when I needed him, when I was 13, and my father died. It just so happened that in return, I was there for him.